Hello, and welcome to yet another episode of the Estateguru podcast, Talking Real Estate. Guess what are we going to be doing today? We will be talking real estate, of course. So today I'm in front of my webcam because for the first time we're doing a cross-border episode. My guest today is in Lithuania, so please smash the like button for the Ober-Haus research manager, Raimondas Reginis. Raimondas, first of all, welcome and thank you so much for joining us today. I'm sure everyone in Lithuania knows who you are, and everyone in Estonia and Latvia knows Ober-Haus. But we're being watched right now by literally dozens of international investors. So please, can you speak a little bit about yourself, your expertise, and what do you do at Ober-Haus, and what does Ober-Haus do?
Okay, hi Mihhail. And hello to everyone who's watching us. Personally, I'm working in the real estate industry about 20 years. I represent one of the biggest, let's say, typical brokerage company, Ober-Haus, which operates in Baltic countries. We do brokerage, valuation, and advisors for our clients. So we are a typical brokerage company, which is not involved in development, for example. So we help our clients to get the best result in real estate market. So I saw I saw us working for 20 years. I saw many things what happened in the real estate market. So I'm quite I'm of course I'm familiar. The best knowledge is for Lithuania, as I'm working here, and I have some knowledge in Estonia and Latvia as well.
Well, that's awesome because the thing is this, yeah, we're being watched by people who invest their money, and the question they're most interested in is what's happening right now and what's going to happen in the future. Because ultimately, you want to buy low, sell a little bit higher. That's one of the best strategies that not everyone can follow. But let's start at the very beginning. So for almost 15 years, real estate in all three Baltic states has been growing year after year. But what about now? How would you assess the current state of the market?
Of course, we're living in tough times right now, and if you look to investors or buyers, now everyone is cautious. So everyone is cautious, and it's natural. But the good thing, if we're talking about the Baltic real estate market, the good thing is that nothing bad happened. So we hadn't bad consequences yet, and the market is, of course, activity dropped significantly, but we don't have any, let's say, for example, like dropping prices and so on. So we don't have such thing yet. I'm saying yet, but it's quite normal situation if you're looking to what's happening in the world. So, but as I see, everybody's really cautious right now.
Okay, so you made this very interesting remark. You said yet. I've spoken to the CEO of Andover, that's one of the biggest developers in Estonia, and he was quite confident that the market is going to turn around and be okay next year. But that's also understandable because he has a lot of skin in the game and he wants the market to turn. Now, you, on the other hand, are a person who is above this situation. Yeah, you observe it and analyze it. What is your assessment? Do you think things are going to get better in 2024, or do you think the worst is still to come?
Actually, I'm not a fan of fast recovery of a market. If we're talking about short-term and middle-term perspective, so we see a lot of threats right now, and maybe we will see a even worse situation in the future. So, of course, we are living in times where we have really high interest rates and struggling economies. So you can't expect that when the interest rates will start to drop, everybody will return to the market the same as in previous years. So it's tough question, and I think I didn't expect anything good to happen this year. So where I left 4 months of this year, so I didn't expect that something good will happen. Maybe if we're talking about next year, maybe if economy will improve. On the other hand, we will checking what's happening around about the decisions of ECB, especially about interest rates. So I'm not sure what we will have fast recovery in the near future. So it could be maybe we will have some sort of stagnation. So we will see some improvements, but I didn't expect right now that we will recover very fast.
A lot of people, well, at least from what I hear, are quite confident that this is the peak when it comes to the interest rates, that they're not going to grow any further. We're going to have them for a little while, and then ultimately they'll start, being reduced because, well, at least we don't have hyperinflation at the moment. So the policies of the central banks seem to work. Do you share this sentiment? Do you think this is the highest the interest rates will go, or you think that there's still room for them to grow even further?
Of course, if you're looking to Euribor, for example, it's the sudden drop of interest rates means other bad thing, that maybe economy is struggling. So ECB will decide that we need to push economy up, and we will have to lower the interest rates. But at the same time, it means that we're struggling. We're struggling with our incomes as economy declines, so struggling, and so on. So it's two sides. So I don't think that ECB will drop interest rates if everything will be fine with economy. So we need, maybe we will have tough times in economy, and it's also not so very good for the market, especially so for the confidence, for buyers, for investors, and so on.
Okay, so you think that we are just in the middle of this all, and we're still far away from seeing the conclusion of this whole stagnation that we're experiencing?
Yes. Actually, I see the situation as exactly as you said, and I'm not sure about what will happen next year. So we will see. But the good thing, as I said, that we don't have any bad consequences. So it's very good for confidence in the market.
We don't have them yet, but
Yes.
a lot of people, when discussing the current crisis, they always go to this sentiment that it's not like 2008, because everything is very, very different from 2008. And the banks have not been as reckless as back then. But what do you think? Is it similar, not similar?
Actually, it's not similar, and we have one good point. It's our indebtedness. As you see, for example, in Lithuania, we have quite good indebtedness. I mean, indebtedness level, which is decreasing for the 2 years in a row. So it means if you compare outstanding mortgage loans and with GDP, with the money in economy, the share of this debt is decreasing. It's very good. A good point, because it means that people can manage their debts. It was opposite situation in till the financial crisis in 2008. For example, our indebtedness increased from 5 to 22% in 5 years. So we had very rapid increase in debts, and people just can't handle their debts. And the good thing that actually we see people have a lot of money in their pockets, so in their running accounts, in deposits. So it means that we in this way we secure, we can handle if something bad happen, and so on.
But I mean, that's like a very good discussion point is, does it even matter what's happening in Estonia or Lithuania when it comes to economical factors? Because if the market collapses in the USA, I mean, the world is even more globalized than it used to be in 2008. Don't you think that if that happens in America, we will face a similar consequences as we did 15 years ago?
I don't
Because
think
there was mortgage crisis, even right now, credit card debt, student debt, a lot of problems. The market is, a lot of people say it's very overheated, but what do you think?
Of course, we have to look broader, not only to our markets, and all the world is looking to a US, all the world is looking to a China. What's happening there? Because we are connected. So if something bad, really bad happened with there, so of course we will face some consequences. But as I said, it's good with we don't have too high indebtedness. That's very good for our market, and we landed. We faced it 15 years ago, but we can have some crash in the market, but it won't be the same as it was 15 years ago.
Okay, so as a takeaway from this part of the presentation, do you personally think right now is a good time to invest or not?
To whom giving such question, I would recommend not invest into the real estate market right now, especially if you're not professional investor. Let's leave it to professionals who know the market, have knowledge, has experience, and love this sector. So if we talking about typical investor who's, okay, I have money, maybe I have to buy apartment, I will rent it out, and maybe I will sell it in the future with higher prices. No, it's not the case right now. I recommend to look for other investment options, actually. So there are options right now, because we don't see that real estate values will recover fast. So it's, if you're buying apartment and renting out, you're just getting rent income and not the increase in values. So it's better to see some other options, like maybe crowdfunding and other financial tools to invest right now, because it's I don't think that it's right time to invest for non-professional investors. But of course, if professional investors always looking for some opportunities, especially if you can do a development, you can buy let's say the poorest quality apartment and do fit out and sell it. You can take your development margin, actually, and not just keep your property and just get the rent or something.
Okay, that's loud and clear. So we've already established a very good advice to all the professional investors that right now, perhaps adding to your physical inventory, maybe not the greatest of ideas. So the attention can be turned to crowdfunding platforms, or for instance, different investment instruments. There's a lot of them, even giving quite good fixed income at the moment. But if we step away from the situation with the professional investors, there's a lot of people out there. They're renting out their apartments. They need to take first steps in life, get themselves a mortgage, because if the bank gives you one, a lot of people believe that you should take it, especially if it's your first apartment, that there's going to be no great time to buy. There's always going to be a problem. So you have to sometimes just take a leap of faith and buy it. So for the people looking to buy their first property, to live there themselves, what advice would you give? Because all those people are probably looking for advice such as what areas are overpriced, which ones are underpriced. Because if you buy it right now, you want to see it appreciate in value in in 10 years at least, when you want to maybe make a switch to something bigger and better.
Well, of course. So if you're looking for your first home, so it will depend on the situation which you have. So because you don't have many options, You have to rent or you have to buy, actually. So that is why actually we see some increase of activity in the rental market, because some people delayed the decision about buying something and they prefer to rent because it's quite secure right now. So my advice would be, if you're buying right now, don't spend all money which you have for acquisition of the property. So you always can buy less expensive apartment. For example, if you need apartment, if you want to buy new construction apartment, of course it's quite expensive. It's most expensive property in the market. So maybe you can switch to a older construction and so on. Uh, maybe you can find a less desirable area which is cheaper, but anyway you will own your own property. But at these times I would recommend not to spend all your savings into putting it into the first property.
Okay, so that's a very interesting take, because I mean, the first time we're moving into this type of direction when giving advice to first-time home buyers. So do you understand it correctly? Yeah, on one side we have new development, energy efficient, desirable location. On the other hand, for instance, we have, I mean, I'm pretty sure the situation in Lithuania is very similar to Estonia and Latvia. We have a huge amount of Soviet time inventory, huge blocks of flats, energy inefficient. Do you suggest that this is a better investment right now than a new development?
It's more safe investment right now, actually. So of course I can say yes, you should buy the high energy efficiency apartment in best location and so on, with parking and so on, but you have to pay all-time high price right now. Actually, prices of new construction and of course and all construction are at the all-time high. So it's for regular buyer, it's quite too hard to afford such apartment. So, but if you need, there is options. So of course you will get not so high efficiency, you will get poorer quality and so on, but still you will have your own property, and it will be your like investment. So instead of spending 200,000, maybe you can acquire in the old construction apartment with new fit out for 150,000 or 130,000. So it's like an option. It's safe options right now. So, but of course, if you have enough savings, you have good job, so you can check it. So market hasn't stopped. So we see a lot of deals maybe less deals now in primary market, but we see a lot of sales anyway in the market.
Okay, so if we're talking about, yeah, again, people who are planning to buy their first apartment, they want it to appreciate in price over time, obviously, but not in short or medium term. In about 10 years, that will be good for them. We have seen the gap in value between the capital city and all other cities increase over the past 10 years, all the time. So I haven't seen any smaller cities catching up to Tallinn in Estonia, for instance. But as of 2 years from the COVID epidemic, we have a lot of people who are no longer tied to one particular city because they don't have to go to the office. They can work from home. So for those people, does it make sense to still buy an apartment in the capital city, or you can now move into a city with cheaper prices and work remotely? If traveling to work is not important to you, and you want to make a sound financial decision and receive the maximum value from your investment, because buying a first home is still an investment of sorts.
First of all, I'm happy for such people who invest not only in capital, because we need some We need more sales in regions, actually, in smaller cities. We have all infrastructure there. We have smaller towns where you can live and work. And the main point is that the housing is much more affordable there. That is why, for example, we had some booms in sales in 2021, 2022 in resort areas, close to the sea, like Palanga and other resorts. So there are very big interest from investors, so for people who can want to have some properties there. But on the other hand, you can, as if we talk about like investment, not only living there, but if we're talking about investments, it's always better invest there where is potential for investments from municipalities and from business. So I mean, if you have some greenfield, let's say close to a Vilnius, so you will know that municipality will invest in infrastructure. It will come new developments from other developers. So there you can gain extra increase in value. So if you don't have such things, so for example, you will buy in a smaller town, any property in smaller town, so it won't be any substantial potential of increase in value for such property. Always as an investor, always look where is potential of investment in surroundings from the municipality or from the business.
Okay, so in this case, capital cities are still going to be the best bet when it comes to purchasing a home.
Actually, yes. So you can see the statistics of population, for example. So Vilnius, for example, is fastest growing city in the Baltics. So the second, I guess, it will be Tallinn. So the number of people increasing very rapidly here. Actually, for example, in the last 5 years, our population increased by 8%. It's actually a huge number. So it's roughly about over 40,000 people moved to Vilnius officially. So it's registered. So of course, there is much more possibilities of extra increase in prices.
Okay, thank you. So we have now spoken in depth about the Baltic states, which is obviously the main area of expertise of Ober-Haus. But an interesting question, just from discussion point of view. From all the macroeconomic statistics, we see that the market in the Baltics has not even stopped growing. It just doesn't grow as fast as it has previously. Yeah, so we are stagnating a little bit. But the market, say for instance, in Finland and in Germany, is actually going down at the moment. Do you think that this is going to be a long-lasting trend? Are those countries losing the interest of the investors, or is it going to be just a short correction before it starts growing again?
So I think it's temporary. So it doesn't mean that it will last for long or it will last forever. But of course, if we're talking, I just checked the latest statistics. Of course, it's for the first quarter of 2023 about the changes of residential prices in the Eurozone. So yeah, we have 4 cities. It's Sweden, Finland, Denmark, and Germany, which faced annual drop of prices. So the drop of prices for, if you're interesting, it's roughly about from 5 to 7% on average in the country. Other countries doesn't have negative changes in prices yet. So some countries even have quite big increase in prices. Like, for example, in Lithuania, we in Vilnius we have stable prices right now. Let's say the price is staying flat, but still we see some segments where prices keep increasing. So I don't think maybe it could be opposite. So these countries will recover faster and earlier, and other countries will face some negative trends later. So these countries are the first who faced this, let's say, let's call it war crisis. So
Okay.
it can be differently.
But it's like a very interesting thing because in 2008, in the Baltic states, huge drop in prices, huge. In Germany, for instance, no drop or a very mild one. 15 years later, 2023, war crisis. Yeah, the war is pretty much on our borders. We have no drop in prices, but they do. Germany has, Finland has. Well, for Finland, maybe it's a little bit different, but Germany has one. Why would you say that happened? Because I mean, it seems a little bit like an anomaly to me.
I understand the question, so I'm asking the same question for me, myself, and yeah, you are right. It's strange, what's that these countries facing some decline in prices, and we have much bigger problem. For example, activity drop much, the activity drop is much higher. So I'm not familiar with these countries. So you have to dig deeper. What's happening there? Maybe there are some regulations from government and central banks. Uh, Maybe their affordability actually are are quite poor compared to our countries. Maybe they never faced. Maybe we had we had the biggest crisis, Baltic states, the biggest crisis in the Europe, if you compare to other countries, and maybe we have experience and we are more confident right now. We had very bad experience, and these problems doesn't look very uh, important right now for our people, and maybe we haven't faced such big drop in financial crisis, and now they look not so confident. And if you look to a confidence indicator, for example, Lithuanian are the biggest optimist in the Europe. That's for example. You can check the statistics confidence indicator, so we will see that we're biggest optimist. So maybe there's also psychological uh, issue for the people living in these countries.
So you would say that the thing that keeps us all afloat right now in the Baltics is optimism.
Not so optimism, but we've had very good experience in 2008, 2010, and we believe that we can handle. If we handled then, so we will handle this situation and now.
Well, that's exactly how I see the thing as well. Thank you very much, Raimondas. It's been a very, very interesting discussion. I today learned a few new things. You're the first advocate of buying a first apartment in the Soviet era building. That's actually what I did back in the past. And to be quite honest with you, when it comes to appreciation in percentages, they grew up much faster than new developments even. So,
Yeah.
very interesting advice. Thank you.
And for the end, I can say that actually the biggest demand right now in the market in Lithuania and in Vilnius is for the economy class, such old construction buildings, because it's the most affordable housing right now. Our capital or other cities.
Well, that is going to be true to Riga and Tallinn as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you so much, Raimondas. Thank you so much, our dear audience. Please like and subscribe to our channel, or do not. I'm not a beggar. And I will see you at the next episode of Talking Real Estate Podcast. It's been Mihhail Ober-Haus, an estate guru. Thank you so much.
Bye.